Green Lantern versus Aliens story over Ripley and Ardis, which was gorgeous to work over. And Ron Mars was the writer on that. And Ron said he just joined CrossGen in Florida. And CrossGen was a very unique experience because everybody was in the same building. There were the writers, the pencilers, the inkers, the colorists, the letterers. We were all there in the same building, and we could talk about what direction the comic was going in. We didn't have any editors. We were our own editors. And so it was a very unique experience. It was a fantastic experience. And I thought, okay, we'll go over for 3 years, make some contacts, and then come back to England. That was 10 years ago. And so they really wanted everybody working within the studio, so that moved us to Florida. And they actually brought me over because I've been inking George Perez on some of the CrossGen stuff. And then they wanted me to ink Butch Guys on Roots. Actually, they wanted me to ink Paul Pelletier on Negation. And then they brought Butch in. And I said, well, my sensibilities are more geared towards what Butch does. And it worked out great.
I can agree on that one. Just one small question for Mike Carey. Will there be, I think I heard some rumors going still Blinders Volume 2?
If Mackenzie Kane had our editor say Marvel, I think that would have been Star Blinders 2.
He's trying to get you into trouble here, that's what it is.
So that will still be an unconfirmed rumor, I suppose. Well, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Right, that was basically came from me. I was offered, my pencil fingers were itching. I've been inking for 2 years, and my pencil fingers were like, oh, I've got to draw something. And they offered me Sigil, to draw Sigil, the science fiction book. And I was very interested in doing that. But I was really loving inking Roots. And so I kind of said to myself, if I was to leave Roots, what kind of book would I want to illustrate? And so I came up with a concept alongside Tony Bedard for Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which was a James Bond pastiche. It was set in the 60s. It was pretty straight, except for the main guy, who was just a complete idiot. I'm going to watch my language. And so he was basically the high concept was James Bond is a real person. If James Bond was a real person, he'd be a real pain in the backside, and he'd be brutal. He'd be horrific to women. And so the James Bond name actually goes from agent to agent. They're always training the next James Bond. So that was the way of looking at the actual James Bond films and why it went from Sean Connery to George Lazenby to Roger Moore. You know, it's not the same James Bond. It was just the James Bond name went to the next agent in line. So that was Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Just like the Phantom, but that goes for generation to generation. Right. This will be like you live by it,
right.
Take the name.
Right, and I enjoyed it. I fully enjoyed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang because I was so entirely. It was my creation, really, and I was just laughing when I was drawing the pages. It was such fun to work on. But 5 issues came out, and then CrossGen went under. The 6th issue was done, but it never saw print. So when I'm from at conventions and people say, "Oh, I wish it was the wrap-up of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang," I always get their emails from them, and I send them the copies.
Yeah, send it to me as well.
Yeah.
I haven't read enough of it yet. Okay, that was the CrossGen years, and we're going to move in a little bit about how it works.
Well, from CrossGen, I'll just go back to the previous slide. Yeah, for CrossGen, then I went on to Marvel. Marvel basically said, we will pick up your visa requirements because I was in the States, and I was over there to work at CrossGen. I wasn't there for any other reason. And they said, okay, we'll pick up your visa requirements, don't worry. And I did a few things. I did District X, I did the Spider-Man story, I did the Electro movie adaptation for my sins. And And then they wanted me to work on Spellbinders, and this was again with Mike Carey. Any chance I get to work with Mike Carey, I take it. And we previously collaborated again at 2008 on Carver Hale. That was before I moved to Crosshair.
Have anybody seen this image, like in the newspaper recently? We're going to go a little bit in how we made it. Not that deep, we're going deep into other stuff as well a little bit later, but I included on this page, I included like the finished artwork and the ink version.
Mm-hmm.
And who did color on this one?
I work a lot with Laura Martin. She was the colorist on Roots. And I really like her colours. She's very subtle in her colours. So many colours swamp the artwork, so that you can't actually see the line work underneath the artwork. Laura's not scared of using flat colour, which I actually prefer rather than the fully moulded kind of colour.
But what people don't realise is it's not always that an image like that is the first thing that pops into his mind.
Well, it usually is, but you have to give the editors other versions for them to feel as if they're important.
And Mike Perkins is like a perfectionist, so it's not like handing the editor like a really bad version and then the one you really want to do. It's not that way. He hands in several versions.
Right.
Can you give an explanation for some of these? Why?
Okay, well the first one, they wanted something which wasn't, they weren't really after something which was an iconic cover, which is what they ended up with. They wanted something which was a bit more, not design oriented, but just not to have the full figure on, which was what they asked for the first one, and then they didn't really want it. So really, it's just a progression of thought. They wanted me to do numerous Thor images, and so this is usually the case with covers. You usually do like 4 different images for a cover, and then they choose the most boring one, and you're going, why didn't you choose that one? But luckily in this one they chose the one I wanted. That's why I put it at the end, so they thought it was an afterthought. And then they could go, oh, actually, we prefer the last one. So that's just forward thinking for me.
I would just do one small thing here. Which one of these would you have preferred actually was the cover? Which one would you have wanted Mike Perkins to finish off? Let's see, like 5, 6, 7, 8 on the right page.
4.
We have one vote for number 4. And
I prefer number 1.
Okay.
we got number 1. We're going to just finish off this line here.
Number 8. Okay. Number 6.
8. And by that small number of wishes, number 8 wins.
Thank God.
Just going to try to get the sketch afterwards. You know,
Actually, yeah, can you finish that one up for me, please?
I think you might get those kind of wishes. So it's a process of getting like the correct image that you want to do and, well, persuade the editors.
Yeah, pretty much. You really have to do this for every cover you do. Sometimes you're very lucky and the idea that you have in your head is kind of what they're looking for as well. But sometimes they always insist on having 3 other versions anyway. Like I said, just to justify their existence sometimes. But a lot of the times it's, you can say, look, this is the cover because this is the idea, and it's a perfect idea for this cover. And so it's very rarely that you can say, okay, I want this one image, and I'll go for it. Usually that's before.
Well, the final image that we saw with full color is a very good image. Well, it has been in the newspaper in Norway as well. So
Norwegian Times.
well, Bergen, at least.
Oh, Bergen Times.
Close to Bergen, it's another country.
I know, but you know, the Americans always go, oh, the London Times. It's just a time.
And we're going to look a little bit more deeply into well, one page in Secret Invasion magazine. We're going to go through all steps